and you're recording yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go.
So today I'll be discussing the cons of school choice, a policy that, despite its aim to provide educational alternatives, presents several challenges that can harm educational equity and quality. Let's explore the problems and the causes and the solution to better understand this complex issue. The problems, first, the resource depletion in public schools. School choice often leads to a loss of funding in traditional public schools as money is redirected to charter and private institutions. This results in fewer resources and larger class size, and reduced programs and sustained support services for students who remain in public school. The district with a higher number of school choice options report a significant financial pressure that impacts student experiences and outcomes. The second problem, which is the lack of accountability. Many charter and private schools receiving public funds through vouchers are not held to the same rigorous standards as the public schools. This lack of accountability can lead to wide disparities in educational quality, leaving students in some choice program without the same level of educational as their peers in public schools. The third problem, which is the socioeconomic and the racial segregation. The school choice programs often deepen existing social and economic divides. Lower income families are frequently unable to cover the additional costs of the private schools, or even the charter schools, even with the vouchers, and creating a disparity where wealthier families benefit most from the school choice options. This segregation reinforces inequality and limits diversity in schools. High turnover rates and educational instability. Many students initially attracted to school choice programs eventually return to public schools, often due to a dissatisfaction or an unexpected cost. This turnover disrupts the student academic continuity, impacting their educational growth and the stability. Now, since I've talked about the problems and explaining each of them, now I'm going to talk about the causes. The funding model. The primary cause of a resource depletion in public school is the funding model that directs funds to follow students. As students leave public schools for charter or private schools, traditional schools lose critical financial resources, but still face a fixed cost like maintenance and staff salaries, which strain their budget. Accountability issues arise because charter and private schools are not always required to meet the same standards as public schools. This results in a significant variation in educational quality and curriculum, as well as in transparency, which is not always possible in privately managed institutions. The third cause, the economic barriers. Segregation by socioeconomic status is caused by the cost-related limitations within voucher programs. Vouchers rarely cover the full cost of a high-quality private schooling, which restrict the access for lower-income families and create a two-tiered system of education, where only those who can afford supplemental fees can truly choose where to go. Finally, the last cause, which is the lack of preparation and support. High turnover rates in choice programs often stem from families' lack of the preparation for the challenges of different school environments, and combined with insufficient support for families who might struggle with the logistics and the cost of the private schooling. Now, since I talked about the problem and the causes and explaining each one of them, now I will start explaining and give some solutions. First, establish a baseline funding for public school. One solution is to adapt a funding model that protects public schools from losing essential resources when students transfer, by establishing a baseline level of funding that remains with the public school regardless of enrollment changes. The policymakers can prevent the drain effect that depletes the resources from traditional schools. The second solution, enforce accountability standards. Implementing universal accountability standards across all schools that receive public funding can help ensure that private and charter schools maintain consistent quality. States could mandate testing and reporting requirements for all institutions that benefit from taxpayer dollars, giving parents reliable information and maintaining educational standards. Third solution is increased support for low-income families. To mitigate socioeconomic segregation, policymakers could provide transportation assistance and additional voucher fund or scholarship to low-income families that they cannot have the ability to afford private schools. This support would help to level playing fields and ensuring that all students have access to choice options regardless of their financial background. The last solution, which is offer pre-enrollment counseling and ongoing support. The schools and choice programs could provide family with detailed pre-enrollment counseling to help them fully understand the academic and the financial and the logistical requirement for different school options. Regular follow-up support could also help prevent families from having to return to public schools due to unforeseen challenges. At the end, while school choice has the potential to offer families new educational options, its current implementation often leads to unintended negative outcomes, from resources depletion and accountability gaps to segregation and instability. Addressing these problems requires thoughtful policy adjustment that protect educational quality and equity across all schools, ensuring that every child has a chance to succeed. Boom.